Who do I have in this one? Alexia, are you in this one? Okay. Maybe not. Hi, Kelsey. It's you and me again.
Okay. Is it just us again?
It's just us again. Let me go back to my email and find out what's going on here.
All right, I made it.
Oh, I was just sending you an email saying I'm not seeing you.
Well, I kept clicking on the message that said, join this hangout of the message that you sent me, and it kept saying you're the first one here. I'm like, I can't. I don't know what's going on.
All right. Well, I'm guessing that what happened when I start it, I do an invitation, and then I click start, and then it allows me to invite again. So I just invite everybody twice. So apparently what it's doing is sending out 2 different invitations for 2 different hangouts.
Strange.
That is strange. So Kelsey's on. She's
Hey,
looking
Kelsey.
academic with her textbooks tonight.
Sorry. I can't get my camera to work.
That's all right.
She's pointed backwards. And we have Karen here too. So behind me, keeping me in line. So, but I don't see anybody else, and I've been checking my email.
Laura told me that she had to work at Super Value tonight, that she wasn't coming. Christine sent me an email. She was wondering about the 5-6 time. She was like, did you type that right? And I said, yeah, we're just going to, that's what people ask for in the Google form. So that's what we did. And I said, if it doesn't work, we might just have to move it to a different time.
Okay, because I thought we had talked about 4 to 5.
Oh.
But,
well, you sent me an email and said 4:45. If I'm not on by 4:45.
Oh, okay, that was my mistake. I meant to say 3:45.
Well, I was like, well, it must be 5 to 6 if he sent me 4:45 for that.
Oh, okay, so that's where therein lies the problem. My old age is getting the wrong numbers.
Well, I thought it was 4 to 5, and then I thought, no, I don't think it is. I think it's 5 to 6. And then when you sent me the email, it was 4:45. I'm like, oh, must be 5 o'clock.
Okay, so all right. Well, now we know what happened anyway. So I started it off with the wrong time here. So I was thinking 4 o'clock and thinking 3:45 and blended the two.
That's okay.
All right. So that just leaves, who else is not? So we have
Megan.
Megan and you said who was Christina emailed you or Carrie that emailed you?
Christine.
Okay, Christine emailed.
I haven't heard from Carrie.
Okay. And let's just see who else.
Jean. I didn't hear from her either.
Right.
And Jamie, I didn't hear from her either.
Okay, Jamie is the other one I was thinking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose we can give them about another 2 minutes, and then we'll just, I guess what I'll do is I'll monitor email just to see if, right now I don't have anything from anybody.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, let's see. Well, Kelsey might have somebody knocking on her door to install more stuff.
Oh, goodness.
I hear them in the hallway. I don't know what they're doing. But
Send them down to my room.
they're taking your TV. You're not allowed to have it anymore.
I want my shades up.
Oh, me too.
Did you see the shades yet, Kelsey?
I have. I've seen that it's just the one.
In the
like,
computer
one.
lab?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not very thick, is it?
Nope, it's not. And I'm waiting for my little people to just touch it with their dirty little hands. After that, I'm gonna have hands all the way down my blinds.
Oh goodness.
Uh-huh.
Well, for blinds, I'm not sure how much light it's going to actually keep out.
No.
Pretty translucent,
Mm-hmm.
They probably went with the cheapest ones.
Most likely.
Oh. Well, I suppose we should probably go ahead and just get started, seeing that
All right.
looks like we just have the four of us.
It'll just be a cozy group.
That's
Just
right.
close knit.
So, just as I was going through assignments, I saw a lot of really good input on the copyright issues and using the Creative Commons and things like that. So there's a lot of really good insight that I was seeing, and people were really finding that valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I know that when I took this course, that I didn't even know what Creative Commons was. So that's why I liked this module, because it was kind of eye-opening talking about it. So it was nice. And then if you create your own things, that you can share them and still get credit for it.
so theoretically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I kind of laugh as I look through that and the copyright things. And all right, Jamie just joined. Welcome, Jamie. So, all right, I'm going to just check. Well, we have Jamie up on the side. Not able to hear you, Jamie, so I'm wondering if your audio, you can always use the group chat. We'll monitor that as well. We just actually started like a minute ago discussing the Creative Commons and the copyright, and I was just sharing that there's a lot of really good insight that was shared from different people on the Creative Commons and the copyright issues, because it is really interesting that it does seem to be something that is probably the most abused. It's like, oh, I'm just using this in small groups or things like that, and but even in the education community of people that should be in the know are taking some liberties with that copyright information that they probably shouldn't. So, open for thoughts and discussion.
I liked the discussion that they had, that the participants had, about discussing it with their students, of making sure that they cite their materials. I know that when we were doing Social Studies Fair last year, it was hard for my students to think of citing it in a certain way, or not citing or not taking a paragraph directly from online and using it on their board. That was a lesson that we had to hit quite a few times, because they were like, well, the information's there, why can't I just put it up there? Well, you can, but it can't be your own. You can't say it's your own words. And as fourth graders, it was hard sometimes for them to know what information to put up there and what information that they could put in their own words that could still be used on, their presentation. And
yeah, that's especially at the elementary level. It's very challenging. And looking at what we have here, it looks like we have mostly elementary. Karen being an exception with high schoolers right now. But what I noticed just in the comments and things like that, especially among the second grade teachers that are in the group, was just that that's kind of a hard thing to introduce for the lower elementary. But it's something I think that even though they're not going to fully grasp the concept, is that they can still introduce the ideas, and if the kids are getting that on a regular basis, they'll at least understand the idea that they just can't take somebody's works. But expecting second graders to cite a bibliography perfectly is a bit of a stretch, and so I can relate to the people that are in that situation with lower elementary. So looks like Jamie was here and left.
she just sent me an email and told me that she's having issues with her internet, so she's going to reset it and then join back up.
All right. So, any more thoughts on the copyright, Creative Commons, and
Does anyone remember if in the 21 Things for Students, I know it was covered in the 21 Things for Teachers, but covered Creative Commons there, so it's more on a lower level, because when it was introduced through this Moodle course, it went really fast and furious, and I'm sure you can go back and relook at all that stuff, but just to present it that way, it's pretty quick. So is that covered in the 21 Things, do you know? The student
I'm
group?
looking right now. Yep, they talk about copyright laws, sources, plagiarism, and pirating.
Does it have the Creative Commons, though, for specific?
Let's see. I don't see that it has it as one of its main things, but maybe as you go into it, it has it. Let's
Right.
see.
Because it's usually there's a lot of different things embedded in those quests.
Right. That is a good question that we should probably know.
Or
Yeah.
even just some links to some user-friendly sites for Creative Commons, because even though the one that was shown in this course was good, it went really fast.
Yeah, it did. Here's a link.
I didn't catch it all. I mean, I caught what they were saying, but I thought I'll have to go back, and if you asked me to do a Creative Commons right now, I wouldn't be able to do it just by watching that one video clip.
so okay. So Kelsey and anybody who's going to be watching this in the future, Alexia has posted that in the group chat on the right.
This is a link that I found in the 21 Things for Students basics. It says it has copyright basics and frequently asked questions. There's also there's another. This one looks pretty student friendly. It's called CyberBee. I'll put that in there too.
Is that the one where they have all the little bee characters all over the place?
This one has students.
Oh, okay. So I saw one that was like a cyber bee, something with little bee characters everywhere throughout the website.
Oh, Jamie's having trouble. She just said, I can't get connected to the chat. Keeps saying there's an error. Taking too long to connect. I know that using a video is kind of hard.
Yeah, it takes up a
Sometimes
lot
on
of
internet. This one's not bad. What is there's little students. Let me see if I can share my screen so you can see it. Alright. Google Effects, screen share. Alright. Can you see it?
It's there.
Okay, so this has little students in their bubbles, and there's what is copyright, what about me, and click on the pointer for the answer. That's
Is this
kind of,
CyberBee site?
yep, this is the second link that I shared. It's kind of interesting.
So it looks pretty kid-friendly and
Yeah,
like you
and
use.
it's written in a lower language that, you know, you could use with your students in 2nd grade, 3rd grade. I'd probably use it with my 4th graders too. See, there's little bees right there.
Oh, yeah, that's the little guy I was looking at.
Yeah. The answers aren't super student friendly, but give some simple questions for them to have. But we should look that up. See if there's a little bit more. What do you think, Arthur?
Yeah, it sounds like a really good one to look into.
And we can say that to the course. I don't know what we call her. Project manager? Is she not that now? That could be something that we could bring up to have some student-friendly things, and ask maybe for 21 Things to have the Creative Commons, right? Put in there.
I know it was in the teacher one because I remember having to create commons for one of our projects, but I haven't explored it enough in the student section to see if they actually create.
Let's see.
But I can go in there too and look around.
Right. But there should be, I feel like it should be in there, especially if it's in ours, in our blended learning course, that it should be here. Yeah, it might not be. Thanks for the heads up on that.
So, all right. So we have at least some things to look into, and we can get back with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any more questions about copyright or any more comments? Anything, Karen?
No, I'm good.
Kelsey's good?
Yep, I'm good.
All right.
I did find in one of the forums when they were talking about the higher order thinking skills, and sometimes we find it easy to have our lessons do the lower level things, and sometimes it's harder for us to bring that to that next level. And I saw that, I think it was Megan, she has the verb list of the different levels of how they are doing their projects, they're answering things, and makes it so that she can try and get to those higher levels instead of just, you know, the verbs of no or those level 1 things for the depth of
knowledge chart.
Yeah, the depth of knowledge chart, and that she gives it to her students to use. But they're high school, but you could still, you know, pull some of those verbs and make it so that it will work with your kids in your classroom. And I found that interesting.
Right. I found it interesting this year. I had some of my students that have already started using prior knowledge. I said, well, how did you know that? Well, prior knowledge, I had this. It's like, wow, that was...
Or schema, one of my students said to me.
So, I'm sorry, one of your students said what?
Schema. I used my schema.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, goodness.
And so, yeah, the web's depth of knowledge seems to be the new big one. I've been through years of Bloom's taxonomy, but
they're pretty similar, though.
Very similar. It's just different phrasing of things. And so I'm trying to bring that up here really quick. At least the basic comparison of my screen. It's going slow, of course, because I think I'm hosting a video session. And the computer says that's enough. But yeah, just a lot of the just some of the word choices are very, very similar, but I think that the web's depth of knowledge just takes it just a little bit deeper than Bloom's taxonomy. So now, Kelsey, you're just a couple years out of school. Did they stress either of those particular strategies, either Bloom's taxonomy or the web's depth of knowledge, in your undergrad work?
We talked about Bloom's quite a bit, but I can't say that we were in class they ever actually said, okay, when you're making your lesson plans, this is what needs to be. Like, that was never, I mean, from what I remember, I don't ever remember them saying, okay, did you start out your lessons with things like this to get the kids going?
We were kind of in a goofy transitions years, though.
Years ever. I think I had like 2 or 3 different like heads of the department. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember when we were doing lesson plans, and one of the teachers, she is with Blotting School, and she does a lot of their assessment and instruction things. And she brought up, but she only taught one course, but she brought up during our ELA methods class, making sure that we're asking those higher order questions and putting those in our lesson plans. But it was like we did that as a class. It wasn't just, you know, one individual person, which was nicer. But I do wish that we did a little bit more of it, because it is such a powerful, you know, hot subject right now that everybody wants to make sure that you're hitting those next levels.
And as I'm looking in the course here, one of the things that was just stated, where Bloom's taxonomy, they're very similar, but it just says that web's the Webb's Depths of Knowledge actually takes it and adds assessment to it. So, but I thought that Bloom's also had, I mean, they use the word evaluation instead of assessment, which really, I mean, the way you interpret it is they're going to be similar, evaluation, assessment, but assessment just happens to be the big buzzword at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that you didn't do much in your classes with Bloom, even though it's such a big buzz thing right now, because I remember when I was taking courses way back when, we were constantly focused on Bloom and what wording and right verb choice and questions and all that stuff, and it's just really surprising to me that it wasn't focused that much upon.
Mm-hmm. We had teachers that no longer work there anymore. But we also had so many different heads of the departments that they couldn't, pin everybody down and give them a streamlined, this is what you should be doing. They pulled people from, educational settings, which is great that they had people who were in schools teaching, but sometimes it was a little underwhelming or
a little disjointed.
Yeah.
So, all right. I was just kind of curious in what went on with that, and as far as with your, especially Kelsey, because you're just 2-3 years out now. But just seeing where it was in the current education settings, because I went through. I mean, I've been in teaching for 25 years, and I remember that was a really strong thing in the late 80s, early 90s was the Bloom's taxonomy. So now, but I know the ISD has really been pushing Webb's, all of a sudden, Webb's depth of knowledge.
Depth of knowledge. Yep.
So, okay. Let's see that. Now we also had the. Any more thoughts to share? Hey, Jamie's able to connect. So.
Woohoo! That's okay, Jamie.
Yep. Jamie, do you have anything that you, as far as that, we were just talking about the Bloom's taxonomy and the Webb's depth of knowledge charts, and just curious on what kind of backgrounds you have. As I've looked at them, I grew up, or didn't really grow up with it, but came through my teaching time with the Bloom's taxonomy, and now with the ISD, and seems like the new buzz is the Webb's depth of knowledge. So, do you have any comments or thoughts that you would like to throw into this?
Oh, she got kicked out.
Oh, she left again. Well, we should give her the tenacity award for keep trying. So, all right. I guess she won't respond to that question then. All right. How about project-based learning? There is a section on that, and any thoughts that people want to share on that one? So maybe I'll just kind of throw in. I've done different project-based learning activities throughout the years, even before project-based learning became kind of the buzzword for it. We did a Model T week at Sioux Township when I was teaching there, and we really made it a big deal. My coworker at that time, he and I worked very well together. The last several years I've not been able to do it quite as thoroughly, but I still kind of bring it into the class, but it's not so much a project-based learning activity at this time. But the kids, what's interesting is I still have students that come up years later and remember some of that activities. Oh yeah, we remember that. So it's kind of neat because I think you can make some lasting impressions with that.
I remember it.
So
kind of dating you, but I remember it.
That's right. I'm starting to get used to you as a colleague. I keep forgetting now that you were a former student too. I wasn't going to let that secret out of the bag until you did. So anyway, that was one example of project-based learning. Oh, let's see. I'm trying to think. I did something last year, and I'm trying to remember what it was. All of a sudden, my mind is going blank. Oh, okay. Somebody else jump in. My mind's blank. It can have some really, I mean, by doing the projects, you can have some really, I mean, memorable activities and things like that. The hard part is they can be very time-consuming and take a lot of energy to produce. So that's kind of where we're at. Jamie, we made a switch. Oh, she just left again. She's in and out. So the amount of time and energy it takes to put into those projects can sometimes be limiting to how many you can do in a year, especially if you're in an elementary classroom where you're teaching all subjects. So that's some of the limitations that are there. But you know, if you do have a theme that you can use and you have a blessing of administration to work those things, and that just really creates a neat project when you do those. So I think she's back. So Jamie, we understand the internet problems that you're having. So right now we're on project-based learning is where we're at. So we're just talking about some of those things. So anybody else have anything they'd like to chime in on project-based learning? And I'm going to try to advance my screen so I can pull up some more specifics on the project-based learning.
I did look up the 21 things for teachers to see what they have for Creative Commons, and it directs you into one of the quests for the 21 things for students, and it's quest 4 called Stop the Pirates. And it's not super student friendly. They just give you 2 different videos to watch, and then they just bring you to the creativecommons.org website. It's not really student friendly.
Okay.
But it is one of the quests in the Be Legal, Be Fair. It's the last one that they have.
That's under quest number what? I mean, thing number what?
In the 21 Things for Students, it's number 7, Be Legal and Fair.
Okay.
And then it's quest 4 called Stop the Pirates.
She's going to write that down here real quick.
Yep. I can post this link in there too. But there's not anything really different than what we have. I mean, I haven't watched those videos that are on there, but it'd be interesting to see what those were, and maybe they would be student friendly when you watched them, but something we'd have to do. Because then we might be able to put those in our course to make it so here's one for you, here's one for your students in case you want to share it with them.
Right. And for the different levels of students.
Right, yep. Good point.
And as far as different levels, I think that project-based learning, you can have a huge project, or you can also word it that what they called the driving question. You could have it so that it was a smaller project as well, but you're covering the content that you want to be covered. So it's still your information, instead of maybe doing rote recall or memorization, you could turn it into a project, but it wouldn't have to be necessarily huge. I mean, it's bigger than a list of 10 questions or multiple choice or something like that, but it wouldn't have to be necessarily a huge project either to get across what you want to do.
Right. I do like being able to differentiate in my classroom with the different projects that we do, like it doesn't have anything to do with expectations of what I believe my students can do, because I'm always trying to push them. I have 4 students who have like very severe IEPs, and I really am trying to make it so that they don't have as many accommodations, but that they can try to do things more independently, because they are getting older. They do want to be able to fit in with the students and be able to do more. And I think that, having things be online instead of just always paper pencil to see, if they have things that are marked off on their paper, or if they have different questions than somebody else, that they don't feel as, different as the other students would be. And that's why I like the blended learning things and giving them questions that are achievable for them.
Yeah, that's the nice thing, is it kind of levels the playing field just a little bit in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
And it also allows them, I mean, especially if you're doing it with group work, you can focus on their strengths and some of that sharing and things like that as well.
Yep.
All right. Just, going through and just trying to pull up any more notes on some things that we can work with on this. I went to a PBL workshop at the beginning of the year at the ISD, or with the ISD fall in service. So it was just to get a little bit more information, but at this moment of the day, my mind is not pulling up any specific details from that I can add. So why'd I even bring it up? I don't know. Let's see. Just trying to take a quick look here.
If not, we could talk a little bit about the making connections one. There's a little bit more fun things to do in the next one.
So, all right, I'll let you launch into that. I don't have that screen up right now.
Okay. Well, the next module is called Making Connections, and it is about having your students feel like they are a part of the online community and a community in your classroom. One of the activities that you have to do is called a class icebreaker. If you remember at our face-to-face sessions and online, we had some icebreaker things of, what did we do? Bucket lists on my face-to-face. You talked about one thing on your bucket list or a few things on your bucket list, and then you can see your commonalities, or you think of, oh, I'd like to do that too, so that you know the people that you are interacting with. Some of my previous participants made their icebreakers have to do with things about themselves. If you're older, you could do it like the birth year that you have, or something that is, their math. You could make it so it's math about them. Something else. There's a good one on here. Oh, superhero. This could be something that you could do for the lower elementary. Which superhero do you think is the best? Why do you think they are? And then, it just makes it so that you have those connections not only with your teacher that you're, exchanging your work with, but your peers, that makes it so that you are, you know them, not just to see them.
Your favorite pet is always a good one to.
Oh, favorite pet, yeah, that's a good one.
Kids always jump on that one.
But that's why we start this course with an online icebreaker and a face-to-face icebreaker, so that you can get to know people in your online setting and get to know them in your face-to-face, which I'm sure that you did. You don't call them icebreaker things on your first day of school or first week of school, but you do them now in your online community so that they can have an online voice as well as a voice in the classroom.
Yeah. Another neat one to do with kids that's an online icebreaker is taking and having them pair up with a partner and taking the first letter of their name and starting off with a word. I'm sorry, not just their name. First taking the letters of their name and making one word that describes that person in a positive way. And so it's kind of a fun way because then now that person is also getting the a positive interaction going both ways, and then you can post it on their lockers or things like that. So that's more of a one-on-one, well, not necessarily one-on-one, but small group, two groups.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good one for the kids to work with.
And I think we did What Animal Are You Like in our online one. Some people got to pick an animal, and some people took a quiz. The one that was a superhero, they had a link that said, which superhero are you like? So I said, which one do you like the most? It was a link, so you can make it online. So you could do that one face-to-face or online.
Yeah, we had some good responses to that this year, didn't we?
Uh-huh.
Somebody took the test until they got one that they liked. I don't remember who it was, but oh, that's better.
Jamie just emailed me and said that she's tried her laptop and her iPad. She just thinks it's her internet connection at home, so she'll probably still pop in and out.
So, well, we'll just work with her as much as she can, and so. All right. So, any more icebreaker, getting to know you thoughts? Let's see. Making the connections. I've not had a chance to review Module 5 much, so I'm not going to have a lot of input on that one at this time. My focus this week is I've got to be down in Grand Rapids on Friday, so everything is kind of pushing to get on Friday.
Oh, I'll sit for a few minutes. Sorry, you guys are going to walk down the hallway with me.
So, are they coming in to do your shade?
I think they're putting my blinds up. I think.
So, okay.
Well, now I get to see what the hallways look at night. There you go.
Go in my room. Door's still open.
You want to see what your blinds look like?
Sure.
There you go. You see your blinds?
Yeah, are they down?
Would you like me to put them down?
I was just curious because it looks kind of bright. No, you can just leave them up. But
Okay.
no, you're welcome to sit there if you'd like.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, I see my box with my speaker still there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, only the blinds are going up right now, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So.
Another thing that's talked about in the Making Connections is how to appropriately reply to somebody's forum post, making sure that you are using appropriate language, or you are saying, like, if you're agreeing with them, making sure you explain, which is something that for elementary that we'll really have to hit. There's something else in here, and I can't remember what it is. I'll get to it. I know I will. There's so many little places that things are hidden, though.
Yes, there are. Yeah. Sorry, I'm been pretty swamped in getting some other things done, so I've not even looked at Module 5 in a while. I'll do that early next week. My life revolves around Friday right now, so that's my entire focus.
You will be doing an activity brainstorm that you'll come up with 3 ideas in building connections with your students online. And then there's tools, Web 2.0 tools that you could use for the activity. If we want to maybe talk about some of those tools, maybe 1 or 2 of them. What do you think?
We can take a jump at it. I'll try to open it up here so I can, that was in Module 5, you said?
Yeah. It doesn't give you any Web 2.0 tools, but we could talk about them. Like Prezi? Or...
Prezi, yeah. Prezi's a neat program. Kelsey, have you used Prezi before?
Yes, I have. In some of my college classes, I have.
Okay, so you're familiar with it. And Karen, I think you've used it some. So we're all familiar with that a little bit. The one I like, I wanted to use Wordle a little bit last year, so that would be another one.
Mm-hmm.
But I was having problems getting in. They changed something in their formatting. Has anybody else been in it recently in the last few months?
No.
It's been a while.
Okay. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember what it was, but I wanted to do something with it this summer. After we came back from our trip, I wanted to put all the national parks we had visited in it and just kind of do something fun with it. And this is not so much a student activity based, but I wasn't able to access it. So I wasn't sure if it was just the timing that I chose and they were having issues or if it was long term. Oh, let's see. How about another one? So we have Prezi and
Tag Zito is pretty similar to Wordle, where you can put things in shapes.
Oh, never even heard of that before.
I hadn't either. That's a new one.
It is called
Exito.
Tagexdo. Let me look it up. I put it in the chat. I want to make sure it's the right one. Tagexedo. It's very similar to Wordle. If you have a there's the link. If you have words and things like maybe you were doing a book report and you wanted the front cover of your book report to be in the shape of maybe a Model T car, you can take an image that you find or one that you upload, and it'll do it in whatever shape it is. But it's easier if it's, a black and white one. And it'll put all your words where the black is and leave the white normal, nothing on it. It's a pretty fun tool. There are some. Here, I'll do a screen share. Right there. There's just some examples here. The world, the cup. You can make it. There's the United States. I don't know if it'll pull it up.
It flashed up briefly. Okay, there.
Is it there now?
It's there and off and on.
Well, this one is just, it looks like North America. And they either put North America a whole bunch of times or they talked about the area. It's kind of a more...
It could be a fun activity to do. At my level and your level, Alexia, with fourth grade, as we talk about the regions of the United States, having the kids do something like that. Kelsey, you mentioned something about doing a Michigan brochure on one of your activities. That would be a fun one to do with Michigan. The tourist activities or tourist sites, or maybe even the fun one of doing all 83 counties of Michigan.
Yep.
It'd keep them busy for a while once you get your Chromebook.
Nice and busy.
Yep. I mean, they have like birds here. They have people, palm trees. It's a picture of a butterfly with the cutout. Then it uses the outside pine tree. You could use it for science if they had information on, if they were learning about things about people. There's John Lennon there. Animals. It's pretty fun. I like that one.
Nice thing too is when you teach poetry units or something like that, or
Yes.
book reports or things like that. That could be a really fun one. Tagzido.
Yep, I like that
I
one.
like that one because I was kind of disappointed that Wordle was giving me troubles, but I was not familiar with Tagzido, and that looks pretty much very similar.
It is very similar, but I like the shapes, and you can make it so it looks like Wordle with the cloud looking different, how it makes a kind of a funky looking cloud. You can make it look like that too, but I like the forms. I'm a person, I like it to have a shape or some type of, make it all square. I don't know. That's just me though.
Right. We have a unit of poetry in our treasures curriculum. For some reason, is it concrete poetry that takes the shape of whatever it is? So that would be an excellent one.
Yes, I think it's concrete.
Yeah, I believe that's what the name of it is. But when we do concrete poems, having the kids do something like that, because now they can find a shape and then put in the words and put it online like that. So,
Yeah.
neat.
I think it's still kind of the words still go all over the place, like the
Right.
Wordle. I don't think that you could put them like in a line.
No, probably not. But at least, I mean, you still take the somewhat general shape of the object.
Mhm.
So the kids would love it.
Yeah, they would.
So, or I mean, even doing a. Can you imagine them doing a book report on? I have my kids do biographies, so having them do a biography section on that, and then doing that and putting it into a person, so they'd get a kick out of that.
Yeah. Jamie just put a chat. I don't know if it's showing up in our Hangout or not, is it? No. It was in the invitation for the chat, and she said she uses Tagxito with her poetry unit, and it helps the kids find the theme using the most common words.
Ah.
So that's interesting.
So, thank you, Jamie. I know it says you've left the group again, but thank you for sharing that. So, all right. Any other things that are coming up? Word or Web 2.0 tools. We could talk about this again next week too.
Right. Have you ever used Kahoot.it?
No, I have not.
It's kind of a fun one too. I'll bring that up. It is like Socrative or Socrative. Have you used that one?
I did a couple of years ago, but I haven't recently.
Okay, so for the Kahoot, I'll do screen share. Who knows if I can remember my login though. That's always a problem. Okay, so this is what it looks like when your students go to the Kahoot.it. They put in a game pin, which when you have your Kahoot set up, it'll give you a projection screen that'll give you, it's usually like some letters and some numbers. I don't think that you can choose what it is, but it makes it so that the students are given one question at a time. I gotta talk and then I'll log in. It gives the students one question at a time, and they're timed questions, and you can give them like 10 seconds or 30 seconds, and I think you can give it longer than that. They actually did this when I was at McCall this past year, and she did it for any questions on any information, and then she actually had us do it as you know, what did this website show us? And they're just 4 silly little things. But on the computer screen of the students, so you have to have a projector, it just gives 4 different colors. I think they're yellow, red, blue, and green. And when they are shown a question, they have to pick whatever color goes with that answer. So you could really, theoretically, do it with any of your questions, and then show, and it gives the students like points on whatever they've answered it right and who answered it the fastest, which gives a little bit of competitive edge to it, and then it gives them some, I don't know, some points based on that. But let me see if I can log in, and then we can show that.
That sounds like a really good tool for review of vocabulary words or content words.
Yes. Oops, that was my email I had back then, though. But I liked the Socrative that we had before because you could either make it student-based or the teacher could send out the question. That's what I like about the Socrative, is that you could create questions that you want your students to answer while you're teaching, and then send them that question right after you cover that topic to see who got it then or who needs more time. All right, can you see that I'm logged in?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what it looks like as a teacher's standpoint. I have 2 Kahoots, and then there's a whole bunch of public ones that you can pull from if you wanted to. I think I did some silly ones. Here's just a fun one. So you click your play, and it'll show your game pin here. And then these are the things that we get to pick if there's music while we're waiting for everybody to log in. You can randomize the answers, randomize the questions, intro instructions. Let me see after I click launch. So it wants you to get your game pin. And I can hear music. You guys probably can't, though.
Now,
So then it gives you, it's just numbers.
Does this work across different devices?
Yes, you can use it on iPads and you can use it on PCs, computers, anything. So once you have people that log in, might not, let me see if I can do it on my phone so you can show what it looks like when you have somebody on there. Sorry, I should have had this prepared. My fault.
No worries, we're actually...
But it's kind of, it looks kind of fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 439 451. So then I just logged in, so then it'll show up with people's names. You can kick people out if you don't like a name somebody has. You can click on and kick them out. And then if you start it, gives me 15 questions, and on my phone, it's loading. It's just random things. So here's your question up here, and then it gives you different questions, and on mine it gives me a red triangle, a blue rhombus, a green square, and a circle. So I had it give me lots of different. Maybe I should take my earphones out so that you can hear the music.
Do the students have to have accounts?
Say it again.
Do the students have to have accounts? Or
No.
is it
No.
just you assign in with a PIN?
Yep, they sign in with their game pin, and then they put their nickname in. So they don't need, you know, any sign-ups or anything. But let me give you another question so you can hear the music. It's kind of like gives you a little bit of anxiety, so you don't have to do the music or not. Can you hear the music?
Yes.
It's kind of like, which one do I pick? They're just silly things.
Right.
I just made it so I could see what it looked like.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to take a look at that too.
Yep.
Well, thanks for sharing those.
Yeah.
I'm working with so many have-tos that I don't get to do as much exploring anymore that I used to.
They're kind of interesting. All right. Well, do we think we should see if anybody has any other questions and maybe do wrap up, or?
I think it's a good time to start wrapping up. So.
Something that would be nice, and I don't know if it can be that back to that project-based learning on Module 4, is they gave quite a few examples, but it seemed like they were all really high school geared or at your higher levels. Like the one main example of doing the aeronautics, that's pretty intense. And there's a lot of teachers in elementary that they didn't have as many concrete examples of project-based learning. I mean, they were there, but just not as emphasized.
It was harder. And just like it's harder to have the blended learning examples with the elementary, that's why we, at the end of the course, we always ask people, are you willing to share what you're doing with your students so that we can see and share with other people the awesome things that you're doing? It's harder to get those elementary things, and it's, you know, throughout everybody, not just our course, so that's tough.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to downplay high school teachers in this, but sometimes at the elementary you're pulled in so many different directions, and I think that sometimes at a high school level, even though you might have, there's some people I know that have several different preps, but usually they're along a similar theme. For the elementary, it just seems like they're pulled every direction.
Yeah, it's harder to make one project in science if you know that you're going to have to still teach some other things, and some things don't get always pushed. They get pushed to that back burner, and I'm guilty of it. I know I am.
Kelsey, were you the one that did that colonization project?
Oh, sorry. Didn't hear what you said.
Were you the one that did the example of doing the American colonies, or is that somebody else?
I did more of just the Michigan. It wasn't American
That's right.
colonies. I was
That's
more of
right.
like the Michigan landmarks
That's right.
and things like
Mm,
Okay.
was that in the Bloom's Web NU, Karen?
It might have been. I don't remember.
Or maybe what's in a question?
that.
I thought it was a really neat thing to do. Where I don't remember who came up with it, but it was somebody that would be teaching at that level. It must be 5th grade. That does the
Yep, it is 5th grade.
So somebody that was teaching in 5th grade and having their students research about the particular colonies, and then they needed more people to come live in their colony, and so they had to present it as such of why you would want to come here and what do we have to offer you, and
do some persuasive writing too.
yeah, it was a really neat project based on an elementary. I thought, boy, they should include that one in their examples. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I can't see who did it, but I do see it right now.
I'm guessing it's 5th grade. Is Carrie teach 5th grade? Carrie or Jamie? One of those two. I think Carrie teaches 5th grade. Jamie teaches
I think
2nd.
Jamie
Or it's
first.
the other way around.
Jamie did the colonization.
So, but yeah, good projects.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, that brings us to about an hour, and what we'll have to do is just kind of check base to see what, if other people are still able to make this time, and clarify. That was my mistake.
Jamie just said that was me. I was
Okay.
searching for it, and she put it in the chat.
Very good. So, thank you, Jamie, for giving us that nugget of information to work with.
Yes, thank you.
So, all right. So the schedule is next Tuesday, and do we want to do the same time, 5 to 6, or do we want to try to check to see if we can get more people on with a different time?
With the 4 to 5.
4 to 5. I can do 4 to 5.
Well, what if I did sent an email out and had them do a reply to all for a 4 to 5 or a 5 to 6 time?
Let's do that.
Okay.
Yep. And
For
that was my
next Tuesday.
mistake with communicating with you, Alexia, last night on my time. I'll try to focus on that. I meant 3:45 I would be home by.
That's all right. And then we will take the 20th off, right?
Yes.
And I think that's probably far enough ahead.
Yep, I'm looking for that note. I have written that down, and I think I threw that note out last night. I have it on my calendar. I have it on my calendar, but I threw out the sticky note. So.
That's all right.
All right.
All right. Well, I'll send out an email for a 4 to 5 o'clock for next week, and make sure that they do a reply to all so that you get it and I get it.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you for joining tonight, and we'll talk to everybody next week.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. Kelsey, can you close my classroom door? I think it was left open. They had good news in there after school today. So if you could just pull the little block there from the door so the door closes. I think she left.